take care of your gear and your gear will take care of you.
Ain't that the truth? Yep.
Yeah, man. So, seems, pretty common sense in the statement, but one thing I think about in particular being a breacher, just to get the level of like attention to detail on my gear, just to get an example of being a SEAL and being a SEAL breacher. But we have to operate our systems at night. We, primarily do direct action missions at night. So everything that we do is under darkness, under NODs. So when you're part of a breach team in particular, you're dealing with a charge, a number of charges, no-nel, firing devices, and, not to get too much into our procedures, but there may be a procedure where, it's a two-man job and there's some orchestration of that stuff. And I mean, this could be a total goat rodeo. If you're not, applying the attention to detail where it needs to be and how your gear is set up. But, these charges there's a booster connected to it. There's this. And if it's not placed in your pouch the right way and you, at the dark, you're going to pull that out. Like I had this folded in exact precise way. It wasn't upside down. It wasn't this. So I could reach in and I know when I'm grabbing it, exactly where it's at. And I know there's like an adhesive to it. I've pre-staged like a tape ball at the end of it because I don't want to be looking down. I want to feel, but I don't have the dexterity in my gloves. So, you know exactly where everything's at. You got the no-no wrapped this side. I'm if I'm passing it off this way or that way, the firing device is laid on just this way so that, everything comes out and it's maximum efficiency on target. So, that's just one example of the level of attention to detail on the gear that I applied. But, in the teams in general, our gear is king, man. From day one, our weapon systems, keeping them up and running, the post-op, the pre-op, making sure they're ready to go, op testing them, all of our life-saving equipment. I was probably, if there was an award for the slowest parachute packer in the teams, it was probably this guy. I wasn't putting anything to chance, man.
Yeah.
I was always the last one. They were packing my chute, sweat just pouring off. But take care of your gear, and your gear will take care of you.
Yeah, I was over jumping, and I was on deployment back in the day, and we were jumping into some desert location, and we land, and we pack, and cool, and we're kind of like, we had a couple very proficient like leapfrog type jumpers in the platoon. They're like, come on guys, like hurry up. I'm like, okay, of course, and so I kind of like, rush through a pack job, and then, we jump again and like, okay, my parachute's still open. Well, now we get down to the ground again, and now the wind's picked up. So now we're out in the desert trying to pack our rigs, and the, things blowing, and we're literally like taking rocks and putting them onto the chutes. And dude, I completely trash packed this rig, and the shit didn't open.
Damn.
So yeah, I had to cut away and really didn't feel good about it. But I was like, is that smart? And it was also part of it, it was not only, hey, like I'm trying to hurry because I'm trying to get it done, but like that peer pressure of like, come on, dude, like you do not want to be the guy that's holding up the helo. Like a helo, yeah. A whole helicopter is waiting on you. And so I wasn't the last guy done packing. Of course I wasn't, because I trash packed that thing and it didn't open. So
this is the teams right here. Rather than doing the deliberate thing to take care of yourself, you don't want to let down your buddies.
Yeah, that's 100% it. Maybe not the best call in that particular scenario. And the other piece of gear you got to take care of is your body, like your
100%.
And you're just, the SEAL teams and the military is very rough on your body, and a lot of times guys don't help it, right? They don't help the process. Like they eat like crap, drink alcohol, I think one of the worst things that people do is stop working out for 3 weeks, stop working out for a month, whatever the case may be. Oh, you went on a trip, or you got back from a trip, or your family this, and guys stop working out for 6 weeks. And all of a sudden, when you get back to working out, or you get back to the field, you think you can still do what you were doing. And it's like, you know what? That works when you're 20. Like when I was got out of buds, bro, I could show up. It didn't matter. You're in shape from buds for a while. Like it just is part of you. But then eventually you're like, oh, I would see guys not work out, and who do you think's going to get hurt? Like if you haven't worked out, and then all of a sudden you're sprinting carrying a freaking down man, like you're getting hurt. So
yeah. Especially dudes of our advanced stage. I mean, once you get over 40, you got to keep moving, because if you don't move it, you're going to lose it, and you may not get it back. Yeah,
you got it. You got to fight it every day. You got to get it. You got to get it done every day. You got to move every day. I really do think, like, I've been very lucky on, training and, jujitsu. Like, I mean, I've gotten dinged up from jujitsu, but I'm still training, and I'm still training hard. I'm still lifting, still running, still doing stuff hard. And I think one of the main reasons for that is the fact that I don't stop moving. And I never go, it's been a few months since I worked out. Dude, that's when you're getting hurt.
Do you still do muscle ups?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, technically, right now I have some tendonitis in my right arm that we're getting there. Yeah. But so it's not at this moment, but yes, muscle ups are part of the thing.
Good for you, man. I was never a muscle up guy. My shoulder mobility I've only done a couple my entire life, but I was always impressed. I remember back in the day. You're doing a bunch of muscle ups.
Yeah. We had one of the new guy officers came over to Ramadi, and I don't know if you remember, I had rings in the gym there. And this guy came up to me. He's a good dude, but he's an ensign, brand new officer. He's like, hey, sir, I've been having some troubles with my shoulder. Do you have any recommendations? And I was like, yeah, muscle ups. So,
on that, the teams are getting a lot smarter. When we came up, there was no thought of taking care of yourself. It was just run yourself into the ground. Yeah. And that's why everyone in our generation just became broken at some point. But now it's built in. They got touch points throughout. You got nutritionists, you got trainers. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and they're not as abusive to their bodies as we were, which is awesome. So there's progress there. And then the other thing I'll say on this is I've taken this: take care of your gear, and your gear will take care of you. I've also changed that to take care of your people, and your people will take care of you. Yeah. So if you treat your team like shit, they're not going to care about you. But if you take care of them, they'll take care of you. So this applies to everything. All right, what's next? What do you got?
Become an asset and make yourself indispensable.
Very important.
Yeah, in the teams, especially as a new guy, that's what you're trying to do as fast as humanly possible is become a reliable entity that people trust, and that, they'll bring you on the mission, because it's not guaranteed that you're going on the mission, or if you do go, that you're not going to get marginalized into some position, in the back of the train or whatever else. So, it's about putting in the work to get yourself there. A lot of work on your own, finding the mentors that you need, and then taking advantage of opportunities, when they come. There was one vignette I could think of as a new guy. I had a new guy buddy with me that we'd done butts together until I got rolled, and then I met him. We joined the same platoon, Charlie. And anyways, he was a comms guy, and he wasn't super happy with the level of comms training and support at that time, early 2000s. So we had some new emerging technologies, and we just weren't where he thought we should be. And as a new guy, he just geeked out, and he got all the manuals. He started reaching out to SMEs, and on that deployment, he actually ended up creating some innovation. I won't get too into the details, but it had to do with basically we got tasked to do the exploitation of a strategic level operation. So after the operation went down, we went and did some exploitation, and we're sending photos that high level folks were seeing. And he was able to do this in an environment that had never been done before. So just because you're a new guy doesn't mean you can't innovate and bring value. It's the ball's in your court. It's just, how far can you get, how fast,
Yeah, and in fact, as a new guy, you might have a little bit more of an open mind than
For sure.
than other people, and like especially when it comes to technology. Like people like me may not be all that technologically savvy, but if you roll in there and you can make things happen, yeah, it's so critical, and it's oftentimes it's like hey, this is how someone does the business, right? This is how we do it, and they don't see the holes or the gaps that you might be able to see when you go, wait a second, why do we have this? Why don't we just get this app over here? Or why don't we just program this thing or whatever the case may be? Wouldn't it be more efficient to do this? And they just don't see it sometimes. And so rolling in there, and of course you got to be humble, but if you roll in there and you can say, hey, we can make this more efficient. We can, accelerate our progress here by doing these things. It's very beneficial.